hearts race. And the crowd goes wild. All across the nation, the Dirt Track Warriors duke it out for what matters the most. The trophy and the glory. This is Gas and Glory, presented by R&R Enterprises.
Back and better than ever, this is the show where we talk about what matters the most. No, it's not the Trophy Queens. It is Gas and Glory. Kyle Luters and Neil Quick joining you from the studios here at R&R Enterprises. And Neil, we just wrapped up one of the greatest events of the entire racing season, the 2015 edition of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals presented by General Tire. In the books, my friend. What did you think?
Oh, great race. But by the way, going back to the intro here on the studio part, I thought this looked like a shipping area just a couple hours ago.
Yeah, just a few hours ago, due to overwhelming demand, thanks to all of our very fine members of the Team R&R Nation. We've been really busy here with web orders. Rico and Kyle's new Chili Bowl shirt have been selling extremely well, along with Brady Bacon's Chili Bowl t-shirt, Kenny Wallace's Chili Bowl t-shirt. You know, I'm pretty sure we're going to have to just start selling the actual chili itself.
Well, I mean, the Swindells, we've been sending Chili Bowl shirts out of here left and right, and you are correct, man. Chili Bowl this weekend, great race.
Great race. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I actually turned the TV on, watched the race.
You actually turned the television on?
Yeah, I actually did.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it was for the first time in a long time I wasn't watching football or watching 2-year-old clips or 3-year-old clips from MLB.
Really? You're still doing that? Are you watching the clips of how the St. Louis Cardinals are not going to be adding a pitcher?
Yeah, I actually seen that too.
All right, back on topic. The 2015 edition of the Chili Bowl, and my, oh my, what a race it was. Rico Abreu, your winner, but the real fireworks, I think, had to happen between Sammy Swindell.
You had to go there.
I did. That's the story here, man.
No.
Rico wins the race.
The story is Rico winning the race.
Rico wins the race. Kyle Larson and Sammy Swindell get into it.
Well, that's a side note.
That's side note?
That's racing.
All right, let's talk about Rico winning the race first off. He drove an excellent race the entire night. Andrew Deal, who we will have on the show a little bit later on, running up in second for most of the race. He ended up sliding back to 8th in the only family car that made the A-Main this year at Tulsa. You were telling me that earlier. That's pretty cool. You had Brian Clausen up there. You had Kyle Larson. You had Christopher Bell. The Keith Coons cars, strong as always. Both Swindells up there. Brian Clausen, no slouch, having won it last year.
The way the race started out, Clausen had that car dialed in, that Joe Dooling 63, the midget was just, it was
That's what they
up.
were racing, yes.
Yes, they were racing midgets, and they just the quality of the cars just to make the 24 car main down there is amazing.
You had less than a 10% chance of making the A in Tulsa.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing what the race has become and what it takes to get there. And I think I heard an interview earlier in the week. It sums it up. You need a whole lot of luck and just good equipment, and just hold on and do what you need to do. You got to drive to the front as soon as that green flag starts, and I think that showed a little bit at the end. With what you're talking about between Larson and Sammy and Kevin and Thorson and all them guys. But it's a Chili Bowl. That's going to happen. You're going to have to run whatever you got as hard as you got it. And we've seen that. From the start to finish. Clausen jumped out to the lead, had a good car. Rico looks very, very smooth. Looking at the track and the way that cushion was building up in 1 and 2, I think it was treacherous all night. And Clausen was banging off of that after a couple cautions. Rico just stayed real close there, and Rico was smooth as ice. Of any car out there, the way it was tracking, hooking up, he was riding the cushion the way he should. I think he was kind of feathering it all the way around there, but I think that was the fastest way, and he looked really smooth from that point on. And unfortunately, a little bit lost in this as well as what Darren Pittman ran. Owasso, Oklahoma native, World of Outlaw 2013 champion.
The Owasso Outlaw.
Yeah, and again, the Chili Bowl story, it's tough for an Oklahoman to win this race, but Darren looked like he was on a mission to make this happen, and unfortunately with one of the cautions that came out in turns 2 and 3, Darren was sliding Brian Clausen for second and ended up spinning and collecting Clausen, and that opened up the gap for Deal to close back in on Rico there on the restart. But that leading up basically in the mid part of the race. I mean, again, just very good racing. Rico did what he needed to do, and as a win, it was an emotional and very exciting deal.
It was very exciting, and you kind of have to wonder now. The Chili Bowl has really been opened up the past couple of years. Brian Clausen winning last year, Rico winning this year, really from the Swindell death grip that was on victory lane between Sammy and Kevin. Sammy winning, and then Kevin going on a run of 4 in a row. Really, in all seriousness, we have seen more parity usher into Chili Bowl here recently. Well,
I think that happens. You got to look at the things that Sammy first created when he went on his tear and that led over into Kevin's deal. Sammy is such a mad scientist and a guy that can experiment with making the cars
I think he wears
fast.
a white lab coat when he works on the midgets.
Well,
I really do.
We'll have to ask him that question. But no, it again goes to what Sammy has come up with, and a lot of guys have caught on to that over the couple of years and closed the gap on it. But something that got lost in Chili Bowl again this year was the fact that you got to go back and look at the qualifying nights and some of the bad luck that Sammy and Kevin ran into. And a little bit of that's been overshadowed because I'm going to tell you, Kevin Swindell passed as many cars, if not more, than anybody down there. And Sammy was on the gas, too, just to get there. The Swindells kind of got overshadowed and got caught in the mix a little bit, but you can't take anything away from them. They were there still in the hunt, and again, Kevin was in a situation that anything happened to Rico there in lap traffic, and he was closing the gap down there. Another 5 laps, who would have known what happened there?
It's a 55-lap feature. Rico Abreu, your winner, he started 3rd. Kevin Swindell started 10th. He finished 2nd. Damian Gardner, 23rd to 3rd. That gives you an idea of how wild this A feature was. Tanner Thorson in the 4th spot. Sammy Swindell up from 16th in the 5th spot. Darren Pittman, Kyle Larson, Andrew Deal, Zach Dahm, and Brian Clausen, your top 10. Give a shout-out to Blake Hahn of the Hard 8 Racing team. Had to race his way in by virtue of one of the B features. He made his way up there to 11th. Brad Loy at 12th. Jerry Coons Jr., whose impressive A-main qualifying 4 streak at the Chili Bowl, almost second to none, really, picked up a win on his qualifying night. The 7A of Darren Hagan, Ryan Bernal, Casey Schumann, J.J. Yaley, Spencer Basin, Chris Wyndham, Dave Darlin, the People's Champ, Chad Boat, Colton Cottle, Christopher Bell, and Terry Babb. That's how they finished. That's all 24 cars there. But yeah, Neil, Brian Clausen leading laps 1 through 26, and then Rico setting sail on lap 27, and he held on throughout the entire rest of the race.
No, very impressive, and something as you were reading down the names here, the Demon getting 3rd. Really a neat tribute. He was running the 71 Jason Leffler car run by Bobby East and Terry Klatt Enterprises. It's very good to see him to get a good, strong run, be back up there in the top 3. And we all know the Demon knows how to get around the Chili Bowl, being a past champion.
Yes, he does. Also the land speed record holder in the sprint car.
Yeah, they were talking about that. That was kind of cool that they brought up the Bonneville deal where he went 200-plus in a sprint car. So he is the fastest man alive in a sprint car.
I still debate the legitimacy of that, but we'll move on.
Always taking something away.
It's not taking something away, but we move on. Anyways, coming up here right now, Neil, we got the chance to talk with Andrew Deal, who finished second on his qualifying night, John Christner Trucking qualifying night.
Very impressive for Andrew to get there.
Extremely.
Yes.
And we got the chance to talk to him. Started the A-main on Saturday night in 6th, finished 8th. Great, heartwarming Cinderella story. Sit back and listen. This is our interview with Andrew Deal. And at this time, we'd like to welcome in a young man who became a Cinderella story at the 2015 edition of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. It is Andrew Deal. Andrew, welcome to Gas and Glory, and congratulations, bud. You made some headlines down there in Tulsa.
Thank you so much, man.
Well, it's good to see a family-owned car, the only family-owned car that made the A-main in this year's Chili Bowl What was it like? You finished second on your qualifying night, and then in the big dance, you were up there near the front the entire night.
Man, it felt really good. It's pretty cool to come in there and get a run, for my mom and dad, and be fast and competitive. That's the main thing. I was happy with the prelim night, finish. And then Saturday night, I just thought, man, if I can, make myself look competitive against these guys with my car's an old car, old motor, no tie. It's a heavy car, and I just really wanted to finish up there. So.
Well, that was very cool, and I know talking with Neil Quick, he was really excited to see you up there and duking it out with those guys. And Andrew, a customer here at R&R Enterprises, we appreciate that very much. But what was it like getting the chance to race up there in the front with the likes of Rico Abreu, Kyle Larson, Brian Clausen, the Swindells? I mean, it had to be dicey during that 50-lap affair.
Man, it was. I spent all week watching those guys. I always sit up in the stands and just try to learn from them. And it seemed like whenever the track would widen out and go to that top to the curb, every time a car would try to fight with them, whenever they would slide them, they'd go back not just one spot but like 10 spots. So my game plan whenever I went out there was get a good start and just wait for the track to get to the curve, and then just ride around, and if one slid me, I just let them go and duck back in line and try not to get flustered, and just run a race and try to learn from those guys. And that's what I felt like I did. I really kind of learned as the race went on. That was the first time I've ever ran 50 laps in a midget. That was the first time I've ever set a car up to run 50 laps. And I don't have a crew chief. It's just me and my dad, and we were a little bit, what do? Do you set up for the beginning, set up for the end? We didn't really know what to do, so we just kind of experimented, and I got to learn a lot from those guys.
Well, very cool. Talking with Andrew Deal here on Gas and Glory. We're here on Facebook and Twitter as well, too, at Gas and Glory. And Andrew, you not only race the midgets and do the Tulsa thing, but you are also quite the accomplished wing sprint car racer as well, too. Series champion with the Oil Capital Racing Series down there in Oklahoma and Kansas. Describe your 2014 season, because obviously that was pretty successful for you as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I've always just kind of bounced around doing what we can afford to do. I don't have any really big sponsors. And last year, Wade Cagle with Cagle Motorsports, he stepped up and he said he'd provide a ride for that whole 2014 season with the OCRS guys. And so we got to kind of travel all over, the Midwest racing. I've got a couple good sponsors, fuel sponsors and stuff. Burke Oil gets me down the road. And so we got to run with them. And we were just really competitive all year. We had, a couple little hiccups during the year, but we got to win with them, and a lot of top fives. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm not really per se a wing sprint car driver. I love non-wing, but around here, if you want to race, you pretty much got to put a wing on and go, go compete with a wing. It's kind of, I would rather do non-wing stuff, but you do what you got to do,
Exactly, you do. Talking with Andrew Deal here on Gas and Glory. And Andrew, that Oil Capital Racing Series has been something that has really caught fire. I remember back when I was announcing down at the Lawton Speedway in Oklahoma back in 2010, the really kind of getting going and whatnot down in that area. Describe how that series has gone has grown, because I see press releases from them quite often. It seems like they're doing a great job with acquiring sponsorship, and really it seems like the schedule is growing for you guys down there.
Yeah, it really is. Around here, really it's ASCS or OCRS, and if you want to travel at all. And with the OCRS guys, you can kind of come in. It's a little bit more economical than ASCS. But, you still get 25 to 30 cars a night, and it's a lot of guys that, we all work all week and then race during the weekend. So, we're all kind of in the same boat, and we kind of respect each other's stuff and go out there and, get a race but not tear each other up. It's not like, we're just doing it for fun and trying to maybe make a couple of career highlights, but, not really. It's not the World Outlaws or anything, but it's a lot of fun.
Well, good deal anyway. So 2015 is obviously off to a good start here with your run in the Chili Bowl. So what's going on this year? What is going to be the deal for Andrew Deal? Sorry, I had to do that. Absolutely had to do it.
I got you. Man, I really don't know. Getting married this year, so
congratulations,
that's going to be
bud.
Thank you. That's in April. So right now, we're doing a lot of planning for that, or she has to do planning for that. But I've got the Kegel ride. He for the OCRS deal. I'm not going to run for points or anything. But I mean, my passion, truly, what I would love to do would, get to make some non-wing stuff, either midget stuff or non-wing sprint car stuff. I would like to be able to race against the best more than one time a year. That's really what I would love to do. But we'll kind of see how it plays out and see what happens.
And if folks want to follow along with you, you on Facebook, you on Twitter, where can people find out more about Andrew Deal? Because I know there was a lot of people very excited for you down at the Chili Bowl.
Really been trying to do, the Facebook deal, Andrew Deal Racing. We've got a Facebook, and I've been keeping it updated. And if anyone wants to get a hold of me, that's where they can do it and follow along. And I might kind of put some stuff out there and see what people think I should do this year. Not real sure, what direction we're going to go. So we'll see where the good Lord takes us. So.
Well, very good anyways. Well, Andrew, congratulations once again on a phenomenal Cinderella run in the Chili Bowl this year. Best of luck in defending your title this year with the OCRS, and we look to be chatting with you very soon.
Thank you, sir.
And once again, that was Andrew Deal. And Neil, I wish you could have joined us for the interview. It really was great to sit down and talk with Andrew, a young kid that's very committed to doing what he's doing. Getting married very soon. April, it's coming up. He's going to have the wife in tow, but sounds like 2015 is going to be a very busy year for him as far as racing goes.
Yeah, it does. It's a situation that good to see Andrew get the family-owned midget up there and being a sprint car champion from last year.
Oil Capital Racing Series down there in Oklahoma and Kansas. That is it's a very cool series for both of the drivers. And I was very impressed to hear the passion and the enthusiasm in his voice when we got to talk to him. Well,
I think there's a lot of things that with the future, I think this opened up a lot more doors for Andrew. And what I like about his situation, he's a guy that works a day job weekly, busts his butt.
He had to say that he had to get out of the shop and get into his truck so he wouldn't get caught. Hope his boss isn't listening.
Well, those guys down there at the Discount Tire Store, be sure to check them out down there at DFR. But really cool, and I know Andrew from doing business and doing some T-shirts for him last year, and really excited to see that he got the finish that he got this year, and really looking for some opportunities both on sprint car and midget to open up for this year. So.
That will be very awesome. Now, Neil, you also are a fan and partake in the Monster Energy Supercross.
Yeah, it was kind of
Supercross.
It was kind of overload for me on Saturday night. It was great to have the Chili Bowl, and I had the Chili Bowl going on and watching that and glued to that and trying to stay caught up and being sure to watch the highlights from Anaheim 3 out there and being round 3 of the Supercross. It was kind of cool to see some things go down. I mean, the excitement from the lights bikes to the big bikes led on, but coming out of the 250, the lights class, it was neat to see that Cooper Webb got his second win in a row from his previous win the week before in Phoenix, and did it in dramatic fashion. In fact, folks, be sure to check out this link. I'm going to send you a clip of this last lap pass, last 2 corners before the finish line. Cooper put a big old blocker on Tyler Bowers. I think everybody kind of remembers from week 1, Tyler Bowers was the guy that has won several arena cross championships the last few years. I think it's 3 or 4 in a row now. Basically came in and he won, told everybody that he was going to be pushed around being the arena cross champion. He was going to make his presence known and stand his ground. But old Cooper put him in check on 2 corners from the end there, which is really cool for the Yamalube racer to get his second win in a row. So Cooper Webb got his first win out there. I know Tyler actually regrouped and ended up finishing second. Justin Hill rounded out the podium. 4th and 5th was Zach Osborne and Malcolm Stewart on the Geico Honda out of Haines City, Florida there. So, but jumping our jumping ship and going up to the big bikes, it was Kenny Roxon on the Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John's, Ricky Carmichael, Hart racing Suzuki, putting it on top, Dungey coming up second, and Eli Tomac running out the podium there. Tomac looked fast again. I think it's going to come down to a battle between these three guys, Kenny Roxon, Dungey, and Tomac. I'd like to see Kennard get back up there. I know he had some unfortunate deal with Chad Reed this week. I know that was kind of the headline, Reed getting black flagged there after Kennard got into him over a double there going in the corner where he jumped kind of on his back. So Supercross staying exciting. I know they go into round 4 this weekend in Oakland, so fans stay tuned.
Very much so, and you know, it's a very exciting thing, the Supercross, the showmanship that they put into it, the level of energy when you go to one of those arenas when they have a Supercross event, and we are lucky enough that we get to participate a bit in the apparel side of those things, and it's always really different because, Neil, you and I, we go to a lot of dirt track races. I think it's a very conservative statement to make. But it's really kind of different and kind of cool when we get to go to a Supercross event just to experience something different.
Well, it is. The Supercross has put in anywhere from 35 to 45,000 fans there on a Saturday night, and again, the fan base is a little bit younger, and it's a deal where you see a little bit of a different look with the garments, different things, and trendier styles. So we try to carry a lot of that back over to our oval track deal and to our sprint cars and midget drivers and late models and stuff like that. So a little bit of crossing over apparel-wise and style-wise, but the Supercrosses are great. Kind of like we were talking about with the Chili Bowl. It was neat to hear the fans roar whenever there was a lead change or a slide job down there or a move that was exciting.
A fight.
Or a fight. Nice slide in there, Kyle.
Yeah, thank you.
But
charge the corner.
And that happens in Supercross, too. I mean, looking this past weekend between Reed and Kennard and the Bowers and Cooper Webb deal, I'm sure that there was definitely some words exchanged and a little bit more there. I know in Reed's case, he threw the elbow to Kennard after they got back up off the ground. But
can we call that the people's elbow?
Well, I don't know if you can. I mean, if it was Darlin on a motocross bike, you could probably talk that. That could be a catchphrase there.
That or The Rock.
Thinking of that, can you see Dave Darlin whipping out like on a 450 or something?
Dave Darlin, I'm going to tell you this. Dave Darlin would just go to town if he had the opportunity. I think you could put him in. He's one of those rare guys that you could put him in anything. Well, and within a reasonable amount of time, he would be decent. I wouldn't say that he's going to go out there and beat everybody in something new.
Yeah, but
he would be respectable.
We're talking about Dave Darlin on a motocross bike, and no offense to you, Dave. I know, as old as I am, I wouldn't slap a leg over the top of one of those things again. But
you wouldn't a heartbeat if you knew you'd get away with it.
Yeah, I would sitting on a stand in a room, maybe pit bike racing myself here. But no, it's a cool deal, and Supercross is definitely a young man's sport. So it's one of those things that maybe one of these shows we'll have to talk about some of the sprint car guys or the late model guys that we think could cross over and do some Supercross racing.
You know, I now that you bring that up, my mind's just it's firing off with ideas. I could see Cody Dara.
Yeah.
I could see Brad Sweet.
Yeah.
As we continue on.
We already know Sheldon.
Sheldon Hodenshield used to be quite an accomplished motocross rider.
Well, in fact, Sheldon's his cousin is Zach Ames. Zach is actually been runner-up a couple times, and I think he finished third last year to Bowers in the Arena Cross Series. And a big shout-out to Zach. I know he runs really good in the Arena Cross Series, and hoping to get the chance to see him do some Supercross.
Very much so. Who else am I thinking of here? The Shark Racing boys, Logan Schuhart and Jacob Allen. I could see them taking a stab at it. David Gravel, maybe. But, yeah, there's quite a bit of young talent in the sprint car ranks, I think, would get on a dirt bike, and maybe some of the older guys, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what kind of – could we see Sammy, 60 years old, on a Supercross?
I would never bet against that man. I never do, okay? You know, we've kind of brought up the back and forth between him and Kyle, and, you know, we don't have – Neil, you and I – we really just enjoy the passion that these competitors have.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and we love to see them going for it as hard as what they do. Now, these two guys, each of them are going to have their own view of what happened,
Right.
as well as their fans. But one thing you cannot argue is that it's got people talking about it. It was a buzzed about event. We had a great winner. We had fireworks during the main. All in all, Chili Bowl 2015 had it all. And people are looking forward to this thing like crazy. I saw a countdown the other day that went all the way down to the seconds.
No, it's as an event. I know we weren't down there this year, and I think it's definitely something we'll have to be back down there for next year. And,
Oh, no.
I'm sure we'll bring our own fireworks to that little show there, but
Oh, boy.
good or bad as it's been in the past.
Oh, boy.
But
The R&R stories from Chili Bowl.
they're legendary.
Almost as legendary as the PRI stories.
Oh yeah, it's folks. There's a reason why they keep us back in the office and they don't let us go out to events.
Except but a few times each year.
Yeah, it's usually they're cringing while we're out too.
There's. Do you remember the old Batman TV series where the commissioner had the red telephone?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, back in the day on the old Batman TV show, when Commissioner Gordon needed to get a hold of Batman, he picked up the red phone. It was the emergency line. I'm pretty sure the accounting department and the human resources department has a red telephone installed for whenever we are out of the office.
Well, I know even back in the days in the office when we did a lot of the distribution for the NASCAR diecast, I mean, the joke was when you got called down to the office, it was getting called to the big red trailer. So I could see that, same similarity.
Well, here at R&R, though, it's not so much getting called down to the big red trailer anymore as that, well, this is the way it's always been, but if the boss takes you out to Steak and Shake for lunch,
Yeah,
you're worry.
you scared.
You get very worried.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You know it's coming down. So, no, it's Chili Bowl is great. Supercross kicking off. It's starting to get going, and I know it kind of leads us into the Dirt Car Nationals down there in Volusia.
Well, that's exactly where I was headed to next. The Dirt Car Nationals coming up down in Florida. They're getting ready to kick off. The UNOH All-Star Circuit of Champions first, though, will be at Bubba Raceway Park for 3 nights of racing action, February 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then we move on to Volusia Speedway Park, the world's fastest half-mile dirt track, or at least that's what I was told back in 2011 when Paul McMahon shattered the record there. So we have an open practice on Tuesday, February the 10th, and then we roll in with the UNOH All-Star Circuit of Champions the next 2 nights before the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series kicks off their season February 13th, 14th, and 15th. So Valentine's Day this year, Neil, is on Saturday, February the 14th.
Oh, how convenient.
How very, very convenient. You know, and if you have that special lady in your life with whom you would want to spend this most romantic of holidays, you can purchase tickets today at dirtcarnationals.com.
I mean, how much did they put you up on this for? I mean,
That was not paid.
oh man,
Yeah, that was free advertisement. But no, we're excited here. The 44th Dirt Car Nationals, that means things, and I say this lightly, but things get back to normal around here in that we're in the swing of the racing season.
I don't think things are ever normal around here.
I was going to
but-
say that.
No, it's and again, I mean, we could say that it kicks off with Florida, but I think it really kicked off last week with Chili Bowl.
I think you could look at it one of two ways. You can either look at Chili Bowl kicks off the season,
Yeah.
or Chili Bowl kind of ends a season.
Yeah, you could. And again, I mean, it's one of those things that once Chili Bowl's here, it's time to go and things start really moving and rolling and definitely on our oval track side and we got the 2-wheel guys going with the Supercross and then we got our straight line stuff coming with the drag racing. So
those guys are kicking off. I've been following along on the Twitter feeds and whatnot. They've had their winter heat. They've been down testing and whatnot. And, that is...
I've seen some really cool things out of testing and good-looking hot rods, I know, with the funny cars with the new Dodge Charger stuff. And of course, we know about the Force situation.
John Force Racing announcing that they are bringing back the bow tie for 2015, running the Chevy Camaro. I got to say, I'm more of a Camaro guy than a Mustang guy.
Yeah, we know, because every time you go get a rental car, you go for the Camaro.
Exactly. It's a great car.
Yeah, I know. Again, another Chevy plug.
General Motors. We are looking for a car sponsor on the show. Oh, by the way, you forgot to remind me this week.
What?
We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and iTunes at Gas and Glory.
Yeah.
I put you in charge of that last week.
Oh, man. Fired.
You've got all those notes over there, which I'm very proud of you for having your notes.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you for having that. But you can't remember the one thing I told you to remember.
Oh, darn.
All darn?
Yeah, well,
all darn. So, anyways, before we get on out of here today, we're going to do our new segment that we like to call Dropping the Hammer.
Oh, boy.
I'm dropping the hammer. No, you're not.
Each and every week, well, at least now for 2 weeks in a row, Neil and I pick out a driver or a team that has put on a spectacular performance, thus earning the Drop the Hammer moniker. And Neil, this week, Chili Bowl had so many different ones to choose from.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the obvious choice. I'm going Rico Abreu. He dropped the hammer on the entire field, led the entire second half of the race, wrapped up a big win. And oh, by the way, Rico is headed to NASCAR, signing a deal to run the K&N Series. Very proud of him. He gets my drop in the hammer for this week.
No, I agree with you. Rico definitely deserves dropping the hammer. I'm going to go with my two-wheel hero that stuck up for himself and put Tyler Bowers exactly where he not saying that he needed or deserved it, but necessarily when you call everybody out at the beginning of the race of the year, you kind of put a target on your back. So I'm sure Tyler will regroup, but Cooper Webb, looking impressive. I'm going to say that he gets my dropping the hammer of the award this week.
Well, that is dropping the hammer. Something, I think we're going to be able to keep that up throughout the year. It's a pretty easy award and something that, we actually take a lot of stock in because we like exciting racers that dominate, racers that win, and racers that create storylines.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot of what we do here. So
creating storylines?
We create our own storylines. And just wait, folks. It's going to get better.
Oh, don't tease it. Just don't tease it. So like Neil mentioned, and I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have Dirt Car Nationals coming up. Folks, we need to say a big, huge Texas-sized thank you, probably even California or Alaska-sized thank you for all of you that have purchased something from r-racewear.com. Neil, this has been the busiest month that we have ever had. Now, we've had the web store for almost 2 years. It's just been phenomenal. Well,
it continues to grow out there, and again, this all goes back to the fans that are buying merchandise, and we appreciate it, and we bust our butt trying to get it out to you guys. I know it gets a little bit of craziness here and there, but really excited about what's coming, and I know there's some great ideas bouncing around here at the office, so the website.
Neil's head.
Yeah, they probably about every once in a while. But
so the inside of your head, is it just lined with Nerf?
Nerf?
Nerf, for all those ideas to just bounce.
Oh, you're killing me.
I try.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to end things on that note anyways. Dirt Car Nationals coming up. We will have a great interview with Rico Abreu on next week's show. We are looking forward to it very much. Well, on behalf of everyone here at R&R Enterprises, he is Neil Quick and I am Kyle Luters. This has been Gas and Glory, presented by R&R Enterprises. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Gas and Glory, presented by R&R Enterprises. All rights reserved. Please visit the web's largest sprint car store today at www.r-rracewear.com. The views and opinions expressed in the show are the host and guest alone and do not directly reflect those of R&R Enterprises.